Hello and welcome back to our Writers Workshop mini lesson. Today's mini lesson is imagining stories we wish existed in the world. So, yesterday during Writers Workshop, you were all sharing your small moments and then getting really inspired and talking about all these other ideas that can be written into books. And as I was listening to my class and them sharing all their story ideas, I was really feeling inspired. I felt like all the stories that you guys were sharing could be real books, like books at the library sitting on shelves. S- So today, I want to teach you that writers can collect ideas from stories, not only from their own lives, but to pay attention to, or by paying attention to stories they wish existed in the world, stories they wish they could find. So, how can I write a story for people like me, for myself, so we can see ourselves in books? So many times we like to read books or find books that really connect and relate to us. So often when we're going through the library shelves and we're looking for a book, we start looking for ourselves in a story. I may find someone, I may find myself wanting, when I was a kid, to look for a book about a kid who's afraid of the dark. Because when I was younger, I was really scared of the dark. Or maybe you're a kid that doesn't feel like you're really good at sports and you're not good at them, and you want to find a book like that. Or maybe you want to find a book about a kid who lives with his grandma, or maybe a kid who likes to draw cartoon cats, or dreams of having a cartoon strip in the Sunday paper. A lot of times, we want to find ourselves in a book on the library shelves. So let me show you how I use this strategy when I'm coming up with a story idea. So first of all, I'm thinking about the books I want to read. And I was thinking, when I was younger, I really wanted more books about, especially children's books about people who are like me. So I'm Chinese and also afraid of the dark when I was younger. So I'm going to jot down those two ideas. I'm a girl who's Chinese who is afraid of the dark. So I'm going to combine those two ideas in my story. A girl who is Chinese lives with both her parents, but she thinks her father works too much. She wishes her father were around more because when he's home, she isn't so afraid of the dark. But his job keeps him far away, so the girl usually sleeps with the light on so that she feels, to make her feel less alone at night. Do you see, writers, that when I'm writing my story idea, I don't just say, I wish there were books about kids who are Chinese. I actually jotted a few sentences about how the story might go. And specifically, I thought about what the characters might want and what she might struggle for. What I want to tell you is this: when you're collecting ideas for stories in your writer's notebook, you get ideas not only from rereading your old entries, but you also get ideas from thinking about books that you wish existed in the world. Today, you can use either of these ways to grow your story. So let's try it. Pretend that you think to yourself, I wish there were more books about kids like me who aren't good at, who likes. Remember that to make that wish into a story idea, you need to invent some details. So you might do that by asking some questions of your story idea. If you're writing about a kid who's not good at sports, Why is the kid not good at sports? Which sports? What happened in the story that shows these struggles? Okay, so let's take my example story about a kid who isn't good at sports. Now, I want you to turn and talk to somebody, maybe someone at home or a partner in the class, and I want you to talk about the character's traits and the struggles the characters might encounter in my story. Tell your partner how you could turn this into a story idea. Remember to think about the character, his or her character traits. What is his or her struggle? What does he or she want? And what the character does. One of my students shared a really great idea that I'd like to share. She said, a kid comes to school at the start of 4th grade and everyone has gotten taller. He's a shrimp, so he's not good at basketball anymore, so he doesn't get called on to play. I really like how this student gave her characteristics. We know that he's a 4th grader who isn't as tall as the other students, that he used to be a great basketball player, but now that height gets in the way, kids are calling him a shrimp. These details really make your story start to grab your reader's attention. Okay, writers, so we pretended we wished there was more stories about kids who weren't good at sports, and then we imagine a character in such a book. When you're living the life as a fiction writer, you won't write out the character traits. You'll invent your own characters. You can use any of the strategies we've learned or others that you might invent to do this. Let's look at some strategies. You can observe the world or reread entries and look in your notebook for ideas. You could ask yourself, what are some books I wish existed in the world? And let all these questions lead you to inventing a character with traits and struggles and actions. You can think about an issue that's important to you and create a character who struggles with that issue. All right, writers, remember that writers can get ideas for stories by imagining books that they wish existed in the world, and they can think about the issues in their lives. Okay, now you get to write your story. Happy writing!